بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. In the name of Allah the Gracious, the Merciful, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in His infinite wisdom and in His infinite mercy to send peace and blessings upon our beloved Messenger Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge, to remove the hardship from upon our brothers and sisters all across the world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to purify our hearts and our intentions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have mercy upon our parents. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us beneficial knowledge, and we seek refuge in Allah from knowledge that does not benefit. So last time we were talking about the subject matter of al-haqiqa wal-majaz, and we were saying that speech is either haqiqa, literal, or majaz, figurative. And we were giving the explanation of, to define this, we were talking about the mouse. And we were saying that the mouse, that little thing that we know of today in computer stores, if I go into a computer store and I ask for a mouse, then the owner would be, a little bit kooky to give me a rodent that we know of. But he would know without a doubt that I am literally asking for what? The clicker. Now it was taken, this word mouse was taken from its haqiqa lughawiyya, and it went beyond its original usage to a different usage now, and that usage is what? The mouse that we know of. So it's figurative, but based on the custom of that area or that town or that thing, it became a haqiqa urfiyya, a literal customary speech, or a literal type of speech that we have come to know it from our custom. So then he says wal-majazu. Wal-majaz, figurative, imma an yakuna bi ziyadatin أو نقصان أو نقل أو استعارة. He says that figurative speech is either figurative by addition بزيادة أو نقصان, or by subtraction, أو نقل meaning lexical shift. And I'll explain what that means. Naql literally means إذا نقلت الشيء, if I take something from one place to another, that's naql, right? I took this book and it was here. نقلتها إلى هنا, right? I moved it from here to here. That's what naql means. And I'll explain why it's what he means by it here. أو استعارة. استعارة means what? Metaphor. Okay? So then he gives us examples. He says فالمجاز فالمجاز بالزيادة. It says فالمجاز بالزيادة, figurative speech by addition, is ليس كمثله شيء. This kaf in كمثله, if you come to a linguist, a grammarian, someone who is involved in language, they'll say that this kaf is ziyada, it's extra. Meaning that it suffices that you just say laysa mithlahu shay'un, right? That this kaf is ziyada. Obviously in the Quran there's nothing that's ziyada. Everything in the Quran is perfect. There are no additions, subtractions, weaknesses, nothing. The Quran is perfect. But a linguist, a pure linguist, would say, if I were to tell him laysa kamithlihi shay', he would say that kaf is ziyada, it's an addition. In the Quran, the usage of this kaf, the ulama have discussed this issue extensively. But just to kind of give it to you simply, what this kaf does is it overemphasizes. It's almost an exaggeration of emphasizing the fact that Allah is like nothing. There is nothing that is remotely close to what Allah Azza wa Jalla is. So it is mubalagha fi nafi. That I am absolutely negating that anything is even remotely close to what Allah Azza wa Jalla is. So that is the usage of this kaf in the Quran, just for our benefit. But linguistically, like I said, this is ziyada. So we don't need it. So this is a type of figurative speech, biziyada, with addition. أو نقصان. Nuqsan meaning what? Subtraction. And the example that he gives is وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةِ. وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةِ. Ask the tribe, or ask the village. Sorry, ask the village. And by the village, when you say qarya, you mean a physical location known as a qarya. Is it logical that someone asks a physical location? No. You're not gonna, I'm not going to go to this pillar and say, hey, pillar, I have a question for you. You're not going to do that. Or you're not going to go to a physical location and speak to a physical location. So obviously there's something here that is missing, and that is وَاسْأَلْ أَهْلَ الْقَرْيَةِ. The inhabitants of that village, right? So that is majaz bin nuqsan, that there's something missing here. Obviously there's nothing missing in the Quran. It is hidden. وَاسْأَلْ أي, so the ulama will always say وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةِ أي أهل القرية. وَاسْأَلْ أهل القرية, because there's no other way to understand it. For example, in the Quran, جعلوا أصابعهم في آذانهم. They put their fingers in their ear. Right? Do I literally mean that they put their entire finger in their ear? No, I mean that they put just a part of their finger in their ear, just this part. The kuffar, they would do this so that they don't hear anything. Right? I don't want to hear anything. جعلوا أصابعهم في آذانهم. But this doesn't mean that they put the entire finger in. It's impossible. Right? It means part. So this is majaz, another type of figurative speech. Then he says, وَالْمَجَازُ بِالنَّقْلِ. The fancy term that we used was lexical shift. But naql literally means to move something from one place to another. And he says, كَالْغَائِط فِيمَا يَخْرُجُ مِنَ الْإِنسَانِ. He says, like the word غائط. The word غائط literally means, linguistically means, a depressed region in the earth. A depressed area. Small, depressed meaning that it's curved into the ground, right? And it's a place where you go and you take care of your bodily functions, right? You go and you urinate, or you so on. Now, rather than using blunt words, the Arabs, rather than using the word, for example, for feces, or the word for urine, they said غائط, to refer to all of the excrement that might come out of the person, right? So this is bin naql, meaning that nuqila, it was used for one thing, for the area where you actually go and take care of your business, as they say, and then it was moved to refer to that which is coming out of the person. All right, this is majaz bin naql. All right, is that clear? Okay. Then finally he says, وَالْمَجَازُ بِالْإِسْتِعَارَةِ كَقَوْلِهِ تَعَالَى جِدَارًا يُرِيدُ أَن يَنْقَضْ. He says that you have figurative speech by metaphor. Right? جِدَارًا يُرِيدُ أَن يَنْقَضْ. What does this mean? Someone tell me define this for me. جِدَارًا يُرِيدُ أَن يَنْقَضْ. A wall that wants to fall. That doesn't make sense. A wall wants to fall? No, a wall never wants to fall. Right? So the ulama say that this is metaphor, meaning that I describe the wall as if I would describe a person. If I say Zayd wanted to fall, then that makes sense. But if I say a wall wants to fall, that doesn't make sense. So this is a type of tashbih. It's isti'ara, metaphor. I want to give a certain meaning, and that is I really want to describe this wall and how it was so ready to fall, it almost looked as if it wanted to fall. يريد أن ينقض, like it really wanted to fall. Of course, a wall doesn't have want or desire, but from a linguistic, from a metaphorical perspective, from a rhetorical perspective, I describe it as if I'm describing a person. Right? So I say يريد أن ينقض. And this is obviously in the Quran. جدارا يريد أن ينقض. أي يسقط. أي means to fall. ينقض means to fall. ينقض means يسقط, which means to fall. So that is the end of al-majaz, al-haqiqa wal-majaz. Then he gets into al-amr. Okay, so lesson 2 was the types of speech. Now he's getting into, lesson 2 was the matter using language in its literal and figurative sense. Lesson 3 is commands and prohibitions. Now we're going to get into al-awamir wal-nawahi. He says, al-amru istid'a'u al-fi'li bil-qawl. Al-amru istid'a'u al-fi'li bil-qawli. ممن هو دونه على سبيل الوجوب. He says that to command means to verbally call someone who is below one to an action by way of obligation. So we said before, remember when I was telling you the different types of talab that we had, and we said that, you know, when you're equal to someone or someone's beneath you or someone below you, and we said that when someone is beneath you, it is a command. And that is how Imam al-Juwayni describes it here. And he says, وَصِيغَتُهُ إِفْعَلْ. And its form, its linguistic form is إِفْعَلْ. إِفْعَلْ. For example, إِفْعَلْ, utruk, so on and so forth. إِضْرِب, أَكْرِم, إِشْرَب. Right? These are all forms, these are all commands. Idrib, hit. Akrim, be generous. Ishrab, drink. Right? Then he says, عند الإطلاق والتجرد عن القرينة. That على استدعاء الفعل بالقول ممن هو دونه على سبيل الوجوب والصيغة الدالة عليه افعل. And this command is a command عند الإطلاق والتجرد عن القرينة. So when I say افعل, automatically that means command. A command when it has no exceptions or qara'in, qualifications or diverting indications. When I have no qualifications, then this is a command. Because when you introduce qualifications, you introduce other indications, you introduce context, you can take this command from being an amr to being something else. It could be, for example, a nadb, a recommended act. It can be an ibaha, an allowed act, right? So, al-amru fi aslihi, command. Illa إذا جاءت أمر آخر وصرفته عن استعماله الأصلي. Except if something else comes, a qualification or something in the context or an indication that takes it away from its purpose as a command. So he says عند الإطلاق والتجرد عن القرية تحمل عليه أي على الوجوب تحمل على الوجوب. So if it has no qualifications, no indications, no nothing, it is referred to as a wajib. For example, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ is فعل أمر. Right? There is no ambiguity, there are no indications, there are no qualifications, nothing about context, nothing. أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ means أَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةِ. Fulfill your prayer. Right? Establish prayer. It is an amr, a clear command. A command that means obligation. Then he says, إلا ما دل الدليل على أن المراد منه الندب أو الإباحة فيحمل عليه. Then he says, when evidence indicates that the intended meaning is recommendation, nadb, or permissibility. Permissibility, we said, means ibaha. It is understood accordingly, meaning that it is understood to either be a nadb, a recommendation, or ibaha, an allowance. For example, an example of a recommendation, فَكَاتِبُوهُمْ إِنْ عَلِمْتُمْ فِيهِمْ خَيْرًا. This mukataba is an arrangement between the slave owner and the slave. When the slave wants to be free, it's a way in which the slave can be free. It's called mukataba. He basically buys his freedom. And you can look in the book of fiqh and you'll find, look in the books of fiqh and you'll find a lot of details about this issue. فَكَاتِبُوهُمْ here is actually a command. فَكَاتِبُوهُمْ. Now, does this command mean obligation? No. This command means recommendation. Right? For the context, for various other reasons, qualifications, etc., that removed it from its state as an obligation to being a recommendation. So in this sense, فَكَاتِبُوهُمْ means recommendation. An example for an allowance, an ibaha. وَإِذَا حَلَلْتُمْ فَاصْطَادُوا. When you finish Hajj, and that's it, you're done with your Hajj and you finished all your things and you did your final ghusl and so on and so forth, and you finished all of the major rituals, now you're allowed to hunt. فَاصْطَادُوا. فَاصْطَادُوا here is actually in the form of a command. But does it mean command? Does it mean obligation? No. Does it mean recommendation? No. What does it mean? Ibaha. Now you're allowed to hunt if you'd like. You don't have to, it's not recommended, nothing. You're just allowed to. Okay? Then he enters into another key component of amr. Alright? So now, just so we zoom out quickly, we're talking about what? We're talking about a very important part of usul al-fiqh, and that is language. And we discussed the types of speech, and we said that is haqiqa, it's majaz, it's etc. Then he's getting us into another form of speech, and that is amr. And we said, and we defined amr, and we said the different types of amr. And now he's giving us masail, he's giving us matters that are very much involved in the issues of commands. So he moves on, he says, and commands, وَلَا يَقْتَضِي التَّكْرَارَ عَلَى الصَّحِيحِ. He's saying a command, right, an amr, لا يقتضي التكرار على الصحيح. What does this mean? He says that it does not imply repetition according to the correct position. That this is a very famous mas'ala in usul al-fiqh. If I give a command, if I say, Muhammad, pick up that chair, does that command mean that I want you to do it once, or that you are supposed to do it several times? What Imam al-Juwayni says is that ala sahih, right, the correct position is that it means to do it once. Because how do I fulfill an obligation? If I tell you pick up the pen and you pick it up, then you fulfilled your obligation. There is nothing inherent in my command that means that you should do it more than one time. So that's the adhan, inshallah. So we'll stop here, and next time bi'idhnillahi ta'ala we will continue with this mas'ala. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathira.